أصحاب السمو والمعالي، الحضور الكريم، الجلسة الرئيسية التالية مع صاحب السمو الشيخ سعود بن صقر القاسمي، عضو المجلس الأعلى للاتحاد، حاكم إمارة رأس الخيمة، بعنوان رأس الخيمة بين الماضي، الحاضر، وريادة المستقبل. يحاوره جون ديفتيريوس من جامعة نيويورك أبو ظبي.
نحن هدفنا الأول والأخير هو الإنسان وتطوير أبنائنا وبناتنا، وكل عمل اقتصادي يعمل هو هدفنا كيف نخلق تنمية اقتصادية وتنمية مستدامة. هدفها الأخير والأول هو سعادة.
أصحاب السمو والمعالي، الحضور الكريم، دولة الإمارات وبإماراتها السبع تزهو وتزدهر كل يوم لتقدم للعالم نموذجا فريدا للريادة والتميز. واليوم نقف مع مسيرة من الإنجازات الاستثنائية لإمارة رأس الخيمة، التي شهدت برؤية قائدها تنمية مستدامة شاملة في جميع القطاعات. وللحديث عن هذه المسيرة والرؤية المستقبلية للإمارة، يسعدنا ويشرفنا الآن دعوة صاحب السمو الشيخ سعود بن صقر القاسمي، عضو المجلس الأعلى للاتحاد، حاكم إمارة رأس الخيمة، لإلقاء كلمة رئيسية عبر منصة القمة العالمية للحكومات، والتي ستتبعها جلسة حوارية بعنوان رأس الخيمة بين الماضي، الحاضر، وريادة المستقبل.
صاحب السمو الشيخ محمد بن راشد آل مكتوم، أصحاب الفخامة والسمو والمعالي، الحضور الكريم، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أخواني أخواتي، أدعوكم مشاركتي في هذا الدعاء. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم العظيم الأعظم. اللهم اجبر ضعف وقلة حيلة المنكوبين من الشعبين الشقيقين السوري والتركي جبراً لا يقدر أحد عليه إلا أنت، آمين. السيدات والسادة، يسعدني أن أكون معكم اليوم في القمة العالمية للحكومات، الحدث المميز الذي يجتمع فيه صناع القرار من مختلف دول العالم لطرح الأفكار التي تتطلب منا جميعاً التحلي بالطموح والأمل والعمل المشترك لبناء مستقبل أفضل للإنسان. الحضور الكريم، الطموح هو هوية الإمارات. طموحنا راسخ في هويتنا العربية والإسلامية والإنسانية. الطموح هو الذي جعل من الإمارات نموذجاً فريداً في العالم، وهو الذي دفع الآباء المؤسسين إلى تجاوز حاضرهم وبناء أسس متينة لمستقبل واعد ومشرق. وبعزم من هذا الطموح الذي أرسى دعائمه المغفور لهم بإذن الله الشيخ زايد بن سلطان آل نهيان وإخوانه المؤسسين طيب الله ثراهم، تنطلق رأس الخيمة في وضع رؤيتها لمستقبل جوهره الإنسان والمكان، ويرتكز على 4 أسس: مواطن قادر على صنع مستقبله، بيئة طبيعية مصانة تحفظ الهوية التاريخية، حكومة تبني الجسور للازدهار والتقدم نحو المستقبل المشرق، اقتصاد حيوي مستدام يضمن الازدهار ويكون مفتاحاً لغد أفضل. نجاح هذه الاستراتيجية يكمن في سببين: أولهما البيئة الحاضنة. نموذج الإمارات في حرصه على الاستثمار في الإنسان أولاً، والرؤية التكاملية للاتحاد الذي يجمع إماراتنا السبع تحت مظلة واحدة وهدف واحد. وثانيهما هو القيادة الرشيدة، فثراء الأمم أو فقرها إنما هو انعكاس لكفاءة إدارتها وليس لمقدار ثرواتها. وقد حبانا الله بقيادة رشيدة صنعت من الحلم حقيقة، واليوم نواكب الفكر الاستثنائي لأخي محمد بن زايد الذي يرفع سقف الطموحات لترسي دولتنا معايير جديدة تراه الأجيال الحالية والقادمة. نقول: نحن معك يا أخي محمد، معك سنواصل مسيرة النهضة بما يفوق الطموحات، مسترشدين برؤيتكم وتوجهاتكم. الحضور الكريم، رأس الخيمة لها تاريخ عريق ضارب في القدم، حيث تعاقبت الثقافات فيها على مدار 7000 عام، تاركة إرثاً حضارياً غنياً وممتداً عبر الزمن نستفيد منه إلى اليوم. وما كان لهذا الوجود الإنساني أن يستمر إلا بفضل الثراء والتنوع البيئي الذي تنعم به رأس الخيمة، من قمم جبالها الشاهقة إلى شواطئها الجميلة، ومن سهولها الخضراء إلى كثبانها الذهبية.
هذا المزيج وفر سبل العيش لأبناء هذه الأرض وعمق صلتهم بها، كما رسخ وعيهم بمحيطهم وفهم لدور بيئتهم في جعل رأس الخيمة وجهة للسياحة والاستقرار وازدهار الأعمال. إنها قصة الاستثمار في التنمية البشرية لتحقيق التنمية الاقتصادية، والجميع يشهد مدى حرص المغفور له بإذن الله الشيخ صقر بن محمد القاسمي على أن يشمل التعليم الجميع، إدراك منه لأهمية الاستثمار في الإنسان. لهذا كانت قصة رأس الخيمة قصة إمارة كبيرة بطموحاتها وعزيمة أبنائها وبناتها. لقد تعلمنا من تاريخ أجدادنا أن الاقتصادات الصغيرة قد تكون بالقيادة الرشيدة أكثر مرونة وحيوية وقدرة على النمو. فقطاعنا السياحي شهد عام 2022 أعلى عدد للزوار في تاريخ الإمارة، ليواصل مسيرة نموه التي بلغت 50% خلال 4 أعوام. ارتفعت قيمة التعاملات العقارية بمقدار الضعف خلال 3 سنوات، وزادت الرخص الجديدة الصادرة في المناطق الاقتصادية بنسبة 40% خلال 5 سنوات. أما ميناء صقر فقد ضاعف نشاطه أكثر من 20 مرة خلال 20 عاماً الماضية. كما نجحنا في بناء نموذج صناعي قوي في قطاعات حيوية تسهم في ضمان استدامة ومرونة الاقتصاد. تركز برامجنا التنموية على تنويع الاقتصاد من خلال جذب الاستثمارات الصناعية والتكنولوجية والسياحية والعقارية، مع العمل على تحديث البنية التحتية وتطوير التعليم لتعزيز جودة حياة المواطنين وتمكينهم من خلال تشجيع ريادة الأعمال والابتكار، مع جعل اقتصاد رأس الخيمة نموذجاً ناجحاً للشراكات الدولية. أقول لكل مواطن في رأس الخيمة: ما نريده لك واضح. حكومة تدعمك لتتقدم نحو الأفضل، ثقافة وطنية عامة في القطاعين الحكومي والخاص ترسخ مفاهيم التخطيط والتنظيم والمثابرة، قيم أصيلة تؤمن بأهمية العمل الجاد والالتزام. الأخوات والأخوة، إن ما نحن فيه اليوم لم يكن ليتحقق لولا روح التعاون والتلاحم في بلدنا الحبيب. الكثير من منجزاتنا هي حصيلة جهود مشتركة لإخواني حكام الإمارات. أقول لأخي محمد بن زايد وأخي محمد بن راشد والإخواني الحكام: أنتم خير معين لنا في هذه المسيرة. لقد تعلمت منكم الكثير، ومنكم أستمد قوتي. إلى مواطني الإمارات الأحباء أقول: شكراً لكم على مساهمتكم القيمة في تنمية بلدنا الحبيب، فأنتم الأساس وأنتم الأمل. وشكراً لكل المقيمين على إيمانهم برسالة الإمارات ومشاركتهم في صنع نموذج للتعاون والتنمية. ختاماً، أود التأكيد بأن هدفنا اليوم خلق حكومة متجانسة تحمل نفس الروح، نفس الطموحات، بأياد وعقول مختلفة، لكنها تعزف كفرقة موسيقية واحدة، تعزف سيمفونية لمستقبل أفضل. شكراً لكم، والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Thanks for the invitation, by the way. I appreciate that.
Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid, Sheikh Hamdan is great. I think we should actually give up applause from where we started with the UAE government summit 10 years ago to where we are today. I think is extraordinary. I thought we would have a full audience to see you.
Yeah, thank you.
I have the trusty device, even though I lived here for 10 years, I don't speak Arabic, but I was listening very intently to what you had to say. I'd like to start off with God's gift, or Mother Nature, and what she's offered Ras Al Khaimah. From the mountains to the sea, if you will, or the green plains to the large dunes, you're blessed with all these assets. You've put them together as an offering today, complementary to, say, a Dubai or Abu Dhabi or the other Emirates, of course, that make up the UAE. Is this your unique selling proposition that you've packaged to leverage that growth that you think is complementary to the rest of the country?
Actually, we have a duty to leverage what God gave us. That's what God measures people's, how they achieve their test. So, of course, Ras Al Khaimah was a popular destination amongst our Emirati citizens, historically. So we want to actually leverage that and bless it with and make it a global destination for tourists, recognizing the uniqueness of Ras Al Khaimah, the mountains, the sand dunes, the beaches. So as a matter of fact, tourism sector has become the fastest growing sector in our economy.
50% over 4 years, and you crossed 1 million visitors post-pandemic last year. But give me a sense of what it's going to look like in 5 years. I mean, it's hard to benchmark where you are today, but if you crossed 1 million and you're growing at a pace of 50% over that 4-year window, what is your vision over the next 5 years then?
The vision is to unlock the potential. We just started. So basically, we anticipate that our plan to more than triple the number of tourists by 2030. And better news, we will double our hotel capacity by 2025. So we are very ambitious. We're very confident that Ras Al Khaimah can deliver and thrive in the tourism sector.
Good. I know many in the audience are saying, we hope you don't overbuild Ras Al Khaimah. So I know in your mind and your discussions that we've had together, I think 4 years ago when we sat down for a long one-on-one interview, that sustainability, you feel, has to be at the heart of it. So how do you do both to master plan and not destroy nature, in your view, Your Highness?
Oh, I think I don't want to compromise one and get something. I think there are several pillars. One is the uniqueness of our topography, the uniqueness of our history. So we want to celebrate, of course, to become an authentic destination. We want to be sustainable too. And so we want actually, it's a very few places in this world that you can commute between a beach to the tops and peaks of the mountains in half an hour. So we want to bless it and get our tourists, our citizens to basically enjoy what God gave us in this unique topography. But at the same time, we have great culture, all the historical sites that we have, all the archaeological sites. Actually, the great evidence of the achievement of our people. So if we are looking like the old town, we are developing actually old town of Jazir al-Hamra, the old town of Ras al-Khayma, all the ruins of Julfar is a testament of the commercial hub of Julfar then, and how they traded, not only within the Gulf, but with Africa, India, and as far as China. This is what we want to share, that story, that history with the world.
You know, if we can zoom out from Ras Al Khaimah to the theme of the World Government Summit this year, and I think it's an honor to have you on stage. It's your first appearance at the World Government Summit, which
very
I think
true. I'm really very thankful for the initiative that Sheikh Mohammed has done. This one, he's always
absolutely. If you don't mind if I zoom out a little bit, because we're dealing with what is commonly called now a polycrisis. And people start to lose their identity. They start to lose faith in government. With Russia, Ukraine, we had a discussion, excellent discussion this morning in one of the smaller halls on the Cold War between the US and China. And I was listening to your speech very carefully. You talked about a nurturing environment for the people of Ras Al Khaimah and for the people of the UAE with an historical identity, which you just brought up again in your last answer. And I'm wondering, how do you preserve both in a place that lives off of globalization? You know, this is an economy that would die without globalization, right? It's a connector between East and West and to the global South. How do you think, through the eyes of Ras Al Khaimah, that can be delivered in today's youth and coming into the workforce with their education?
I'm not really worried about the globalization. The history of the Emirates is a seafaring nation. That did not diminish them. They still have their own identity and they're proud of it. So on the contrary, globalization for me is just like a diamond. The more polished, the shiner it is. So, but for me is, sir, how we can engineer and design our emirate to become not only just a good place for today. Today, we actually have 180 nationalities who have voted with their feet to be in Ras Al Khaimah. But yet, what we want to do is actually think ahead and think about the future and how we can address the challenges, the opportunities, how our own people can, out of our own duty, to create the environment for them that really suits them and that we're a little bit ahead of them. So we are always ahead of them. That's a kind of duty that on any government. And how to welcome the newcomers who find Ras Al Khaimah is a place of choice. And that is really what we want to do. And so livability, I'm not going to invent livability. It's well established. I think some of the sessions here have addressed that. Basically is, you talk about mobility, you're going to talk about amenities like education, healthcare, recreation. You're going to talk about energy efficiency, which we have to do as any part of this world have to address the challenges of climate change. But we have got two things. One is God-given, and one we are making. So the God-given is that God blessed us this proximity of topography between the high peaks of the mountain to the beaches, the sand dunes. So in half an hour, you can choose the climate you want to be. That's a unique and a compelling story for anyone to choose and live. He doesn't have to choose. He can have both. So there is no compromise here. On top of that, there is something we are trying to do, is we have been doing studies on what I call outdoor comfort. And what we are trying in the new master plan, where we have engaged top planners to work with our team, to work for a plan that addresses these livability issues, but bless it with our own topography.
Great.
The mountain and everything. And at the same time, to create people can enjoy the outdoor in a better way.
Good. Can you spend 30 seconds on how you, as a leader, have a sense of duty for society? And I find this fascinating because as a financial journalist, I covered you for the last 13 years as ruler, the Soccer Port, the Rock Free Zone, which has 16,000 companies in it, Rock Ceramics, which is not only known in the region. So beyond tourism, you've had economic development on your mind here, but you said it's worthless unless I have a sense of duty and I can provide the toolkit for the next generation. Is there an analogy that works here, how you put this melange together as a leader and how it fits into the wider picture of the UAE?
John, you have touched my heart. It's a very dear subject to me. And if
well, I watched with envy what you built there, actually, on the business side.
We just started. So a long way to go. So basically, sir, government is the most essential thing that any society has. And if I call it a parallel, if you look at a beautiful painting and another not so good, not so beautiful painting, the difference is not in the dyes, not in the brush, not in the canvas. Sir, I'm not a good painter. But you know, what makes a difference is how that colors are organized. And so the same thing applies to us human beings. How to harness and organize the individual, the citizens, the people who live in that space, and organize them to produce the dreams to become true. And so it's essential. So for me, the rules of good governance is very well established. But for me to have a fiscal discipline, what does it mean, sir? The world at large watches. Our own people watches. They will never listen to what we say. They will only watch what we do. So it's very vital for us to do that. Number two is technology is evolving on a daily basis. And so we have to, as a government, adopt. Today, the world is a small village. So we need to adopt the latest digital innovations and all the technological innovation to make it ours, available to our people, to our customers, to our all those who have to deal with our emirate. We have to make it available. So that's number two. Then it's at the same time, decent people need protection. Freedom without safety is chaos. We want to have a safe environment, not for the strong only, for the weak, for the woman, for the child, for everything. That's something we need to have. For them to prosper, they need to have that kind of safety. And number three, sir, we need to eliminate any corruption. So that is a fair play for everybody. Number four, sir, it's very important is...
I'm glad I tapped your emotions here.
Yes, thank you. But there is something else, sir. We need to have pragmatism, what I call evidence-based policies. So we should be really looking at, when we set our policies, we always have to not just be dogmatic, but become result-oriented. If it does work, we follow it. If it doesn't work, we shouldn't. But sir, policies alone don't get carried out. They need someone else to carry them. They're going to be leaders, and that's very important. And if I give you a moment, sir, it's if you go in a battlefield, sometimes a soldier shines, and he becomes the true general that you want him next to you. And sometimes, unfortunately, a general doesn't even deserve to be a soldier. So what I want is, part of my team, is I want those true generals who will not, when others complain about challenge, they call it opportunity. When others call it is pain, they call it gain. When others call it, when they call it it's hot, they call it all the better. This is the kind of team I want to have. We have all the culture, the history. We look at the history of our people. This is the kind of people we had. So this is the kind of team that we're really, we will bet on. And that's what I'm betting on our people, on our team who will lead us.
Great.
I want to add something else, sir.
We're a little bit long on time, so I don't want to be penalized here.
Okay.
Can I ask you one final question, though? a quick one.
But
I was taking notes.
I want to say something, if I don't mind.
Oh, it's your stage. I'm not gonna-
Just me. I want to say something. I'm not going to ask my team to work more than me. I'm not going to ask my team to have less holiday, less holiday than me. No, I will be in the trench, working with them, and I'm indebted to each one of them who are working for me.
Wow. I almost feel like I should leave it there, but I was taking notes behind the stage, and I thought it was a fantastic quote from, I was going through Arabic to the English translation, but you said one orchestra that plays like a symphony for a better future. I wanted to find out if we can apply that to the 7 Emirates of the UAE, and if I have 7 pieces of a puzzle, if you will, and where Ras Al Khaimah fits into the melange that the UAE is today, if you don't mind, and we have to do it in a short period, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on it.
Thank you. It's very simple for me, actually. I would like to compare the Emirates as a beautiful garden. When you walk through that beautiful garden, you see the different trees. You see the different roses, the different flowers. That difference doesn't diminish the beauty, it adds to the beauty. I look at each emirate as one beautiful piece of that beautiful garden. All of us together is a compelling and most beautiful garden. And that's how we survive.
It's enlightening to see the leadership from your father. Of course, Sheikh Sakhr, which is great. Remember the memory of Sheikh Rashid, of course, and Sheikh Zayed. It's interesting how you take ownership of leadership for the next generation, something I know the World Government Summit kind of holds to its heart. Can we give a nice thank you to Sheikh Saad bin Sakhr Al-Qasimi? It's great to see you again. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you.